सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्या निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवन पुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् अज्ञात्वा ते महत्त्वं यदिह निगदितं विश्वनाथ क्षमेथः स्तोत्रं चैतत्सहस्रोत्तरमधिकतरं त्वत्प्रसादाय भूयात् वेधा नारायणीयं श्रुतिषु च जनुषा स्तुत्यता वर्णनेन स्फीतम् लीलावतारैरिदमिह कुरुताम् आयुरारोग्य सौख्यम् आयुरारोग्य सौख्यम्.
Guru Pavanapure Hantabhagyam Jananam. Namaskaram to all the Astikas. We have been relishing the Rupam of Sakshat Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, Vasudeva, Guruvayurappan through the verses of Narayana Bhaṭṭatiri in his famed work called Nārāyaneeyam. In Daśhakaṃ too, while he was describing that Bhagavan is sweeter than the sweetest, he is more wonderful than most other wonderful objects. So while this was the Anubhava, he did say that Mahalakshmi, who is so attached to Bhagavan, wants to be inseparable from him, meaning she wants to remain with him perennially, eternally. But she as a mother has a duty to go to her devotee's house. But if she stays there, how will she stay with Bhagavan? So the news is, she goes to her devotee's house, thinks of Bhagavan, wants to go back to him and leaves the devotee's house and comes. This has caused a lot of ill fame to her, says Bhaṭṭatiri, where Varta, there is news around the world that is she is very fickle-minded. She comes and she goes. She comes and she goes. She is very fickle-minded. Whereas the true aspect is she is inseparable from the paramatma and she wants to remain with paramatma. Now he adds another important aspect to it. He says, Lakshmi stavakaramaniya veyam pareshvasthire tasmin anyadapi pramanamadhuna vakshami Lakshmi pate etvadhyana gunanukirtanarasa sakta hi bhakta janaha teshvesha vasati sthiraiva daita prastava dattatara. He Lakshmi pate, he Bhagavan Lakshmi Narayana, vakshyami adhuna anyat. I shall tell you one more aspect. He says Lakshmi pate. Why should he use? He could have said Achyuta, he could have said Narayana. Why Lakshmi pate? Because in the previous shloka and this shloka, shloka number 4 and shloka number 5, the center of discussion is Mahalakshmi's behavior, which is Vaibhavam, her greatness, alongside devotees and Bhagavan. So he says, Hey Lakshmi Pati, Vakshyami Adhuna Anyat. I shall tell you one more thing. He has a conversation with Krishna. He says, Pramanam api asmin iti. I have proof to support your wife. Because when you support your father, shouldn't you support your mother? Mata Devi Tvamasi Bhagavan Vasudeva Pitame, says Vedanta Deshika. Tyagaraja, the famed poet, says, Sitam Mayam Śrīramudu Maku Tandri Sitam Mayam Nanu Brovamani Chapave Sitamma Talli. Sitamma Talli, my mother Sita, my mother Rukmini, my mother Jagannmata Mahalakshmi. So he says, Pramanam api asminiti. I have one proof in support of her. Yam Lakshmi, this Lakshmi who is our topic of discussion, Asthira Pareshu. Yes, she may be unsteady with others. She is not steady. The news was she is fickle-minded. She comes and she goes. She comes and she goes. She may be unsteady with others. So he says, Yam Lakshmi, Asthira Pareshu, with others. When I say with others she is unsteady, then logically it means she is steady with someone else. If I say this man is very bad with others, which means he is very good with his wife. So there has to be some aspect here. So he says, Tavaka Ramaniyaka Kruta Yeva. Because she is captivated by your charm, Ye Janaha Bhaktaha. Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyam, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Ye Jana Paryupasate, Ye Janaha. So Bhaṭṭatiri uses the same word. Ye Janaha Bhaktaha. Those of them who engage in Bhakti Yoga, Sadhana, Upasana to you, Krishna, Tvadyana Gunanukirtana Rasa Sartaha. They who are addicted to meditating upon you and singing your virtues, your gunam, teshu yeva yesha vasati sthirahi. With them alone, remember those who meditate upon you, those who do kirtanam of you, with them alone, teshu yeva yesha vasati sthirahi. She is very steady with them. With others, she is unsteady. She may be called fickle-minded. But those of them who meditate upon you, Mahalakshmi stays with them. Daita Prastava Dattatara. Because she is very fond of listening to the praises of you, Krishna. Whenever she goes to your Bhakta's house, the Bhakta keeps singing your praises. So she is forced and coaxed to stay with that Bhakta. Bhadrachala Ramadas was imprisoned in the Golconda fort by Tanasha for no fault of his. When he pleaded to Rama, nothing happened. He pleaded to Sita, Sita recommended. The moment Sita recommended, Rama came and graced Bhadrachala Ramadas or Kancherla Gopanna. At the same time, from then on, he was prosperous because he was singing praises of Rama. Lakshmi did not leave him. Sita did not leave him. Same is the case with Kuchela, Sudhama. He was extremely poor. He was in poverty, poverty-stricken, destitution. At that point in time, he comes and seeks Krishna's intervention to alleviate all his worries so that he remains peacefully and happily. That is when Krishna blesses him with prosperity with the intervention of Rukmini Devi, who is Mahalakshmi. And from then on, he was prosperous. Why? Mahalakshmi wanted to stay in the house of Sudhama, who was singing praises of Krishna. Teshu yeva tesha vasati sthirahi daita prastava dattatara. Because they sing praises of you, Mahalakshmi stays in their house and she is steady. People who do not praise about you in their houses, she is unsteady. She will come and she will go. So the news is she is fickle-minded. No, Bhagavan, she stays in the house of the devotees. Whereas for the non-devotees, she comes and she goes. So do not call her fickle-minded. Comes in support of the mother, the son called Narayana Bhaṭṭatiri. In the 6th shloka, he says, Evam bhutamanognata navasudha nishyanda sandohanam tvadrupam parachidrasayanamayam chetoharam shrunvatam sadyah prerayate matim madayate romanchayatyangakam vyasinchintyapi shita bashpavisaraihi ananda murchodbhavaihi evam tvadrupam. Now looking at the form of Krishna again, Bhaṭṭatiri says, Evam tvadrupam bhuta manognyata navasudha nishyanda sandohanam. That form of yours that showers the cool and the rejuvenating ambrosia nectar. Bhuta manognyata navasudha. Sudha is nectar, navasudha. I have never seen, tasted or felt a nectar such as you before. Navasudha nishyanda sandohanam. It keeps on coming incessantly. It doesn't stop. It is not as if 1 liter is there. It got over. It is perennial. That is when he continues. Parichit rasayanamayam. Rasayana, many of them will think that is the ambrosia, the amrita which devas consume to become this and become that. That is immaterial to us. When you go to a kshetram called Kumbhakonam in the state of Tamil Nadu, Bhagavan, Nārāyaṇa is called Aravamudan. Aparyaptamritan. Aparyaptamrita means Amrita. He is Amrita. Paryapta Amrita. When you taste him and when you see him, do you feel, okay, once I've had a look, enough. Isse zyada main nahi aunga. No. Every time you want to keep visiting. He is sweet. Yet you don't have the law of diminishing utility and marginality applying here. So he is called Aparyaptamrita. So he says, Parichit Rasayanamayam. Bhagavan himself is the Rasayana. He is the medicine. He is the enjoyment. Chetoharam. What is the biggest aspect of Krishna? Chetoharam. He will just captivate your mind. Kandavartam manam valangum Kannapuratten Karumaniye, says Alvar. When you go to a kshetram called Tirukkannapuram, it seems when you have a glimpse of the God, when you see Bhagavan, have Bhagavad Darshanam, you will come back, leaving your mind with him. So he captivates your mind. Chetoharam prerayate sadhyaha mate. That stimulates his form, just does not captivate our mind. When the mind is with us, it keeps stimulating us to think more. Prerayate sadhyaha matim shrinvatam. Of those of them who hear your pastimes, it is such a rasayanam for them. Madayate romanchayati angakam. Madayate. It kind of, is invigorating. It is intoxicating. Madayate romanchayati angakam. Romanchayati. When you listen to certain aspects of Ramayana, of Rama, Krishna Avataram of Krishna, you get goosebumps, you get horripilation all over your body. Tyagaraja says, Romanchamane Ghanakachukamo Romanchamane Romanchamano. So you get goosebumps. So he says, Romanchayati Angakam, the entire body. The same romanchanam, because he sees Bhagavan in his yogic vision now, he gets horripilation. Same Bhaṭṭatiri in the 100th Daśhakaṃ shall see it in front of his eyes. Agre pashyami, he says. When he says Agre pashyami, there too he says, I get goosebumps. So, Angakam romanchayati, api vyasinchati. And it is drenched. So the horripilation doesn't stop in one step. As you keep seeing Bhagavan, you get goosebumps. As you keep thinking about his karuna, about his compassion, Bhaṭṭatiri says, I start getting copious tears. That is why we say, Yatra yatra raghunatha kirtanam, tatra tatra krita mastakanjalim, bashpavari paripurna lochanam. When Hanuman listens to Rama and Rama's greatness through Ramayana, bashpavari paripurna lochanam. His kapolam has lots of water, tears rolling by. So Bhaṭṭatiri says, Api vyasinchati shita bashpa visaraihi. It is not 1 or 2 drops. It seems, it looks as if the floodgates have been opened from the dam called as Anubhavam. Shita bashpa visaraihi ananda murchodbhavaihi. Ananda murchodbhavaihi. He says, it makes me feel unconscious. Because I've got goosebumps, I keep thinking of him, I start shedding tears. Then he says, Ananda murchodbhavaihi. I am in the ecstasy of joy. I am in the pinnacle of joy. It is so beautiful. Shita bashpa visaraihi, Ananda murchodbhavaihi, evam twadrupam. Hey Krishna, your form, your beautiful form causes so many changes in the body and in the mind of devotees like me, says Bhaṭṭatiri in this shloka number 6 of Daśhakaṃ number 2.
कल्याणरूपाय कलौ जनानां कल्याणदात्रे करुणासुधाब्दे कंवादिदिव्यायुधसत्कराय वातालयाधीश नमो नमस्ते। नारायण 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 नारायण